In the heart of a bustling city, Nairobi, Kenya, where the rhythm of life pulses through the streets, George, a man of privilege and power, sped along on his motorcycle, the wind whipping through his hair and adrenaline coursing through his veins. But in his rush to conquer the world, George failed to see the obstacles that lay in his path. On a quiet corner of the road stood John, a man whose world was cloaked in darkness, yet whose spirit shone brighter than the sun. As George careened around the corner, his mind consumed by thoughts of conquest, he spotted John standing in his path. He tried to lean on the horn with anger. John remained rooted to the spot. And without a second thought, he lashed out, striking John with a force fueled by his own sense of entitlement. He stroked John several times. But as the John turned towards him, George's words caught in his throat, replaced by a hollow emptiness that echoed through his soul. For before him stood John, his eyes vacant and unseeing, his face a portrait of vulnerability and innocence. A wave of realization washed over George, flooding his heart with a tide of regret and shame. In his haste to assert his dominance over the world, he had failed to see the humanity in the person standing before him, John, a person whose world was cloaked in darkness. George realized John was blind. Kneeling before John, George extended a trembling hand, his voice a whisper of contrition as he begged for forgiveness. And as John's fingers closed around his own, George felt a warmth spread through him, a warmth born of compassion and understanding, binding them together in a bond stronger than steel. As George knelt before John, his heart heavy with remorse, he felt a gentle touch upon his shoulder, a touch filled with forgiveness and understanding. With tears welling in his eyes, he looked up to meet John's gaze, seeing not judgment, but compassion shining brightly within those unseeing eyes. In that moment, a weight lifted from George's shoulders, replaced by a profound sense of gratitude and humility. With trembling hands, he reached out to help John to his feet, his touch gentle and reverent as he guided him towards his motorcycle. With a tender smile, John accepted George's offer of assistance, his trust in his newfound friend unwavering. As George settled him onto the back of the motorcycle, he felt a sense of purpose wash over him, a purpose born of the bond that had formed between them in the wake of their shared ordeal.